everyone. We'll see, jump on here just a little bit early, and we'll see who all can jump on in here. I think today what we're going to do is look at doing some scratch building. Some things we have in our hobby, we have to adjust to fit our needs. So today, somebody had asked about the pen scribers that I use. So what I do is this right here is just a regular automatic pencil. You know, it was something that the kids had took the eraser out and lost the lead. So what you can do with this, just a cheap automatic pencil, you know, you can buy a bag of these at the dollar store or whatnot. There's two sizes of pens that I like to use. You have this style here with the ball on it. And I usually use these for my transmission, for like my shifter knobs and stuff like that. And then you have the regular sewing straight pen. And if you look, hey, what's up, Lucifer? If you look, the pens are a little bit of a different size. If you guys don't know, hey, what's up, Gothic? The first two guys that I posted in here, Lucifer's and Gothic, guys got to go sub their channels. They also are great for giving out some tips and ideas of stuff. Some of the work that Lucifer does, guys, is just sick. And then the stuff that Gothic does will it'll open up your creativity in your mind to see some of the stuff that Gothic can come up with. Any of us can buy a kit off of a shelf and go home, paint it, and build it. To watch some of these other guys like Lucifer, the way he goes into detailing, and to watch Gothic, the way he'll cut up some plastic. And I can enhance a kit versus create a kit. And Gothic has done the great job of taking what I do to another level and on creativity. So what we're going to do here with these pens, what I do, see if maybe, I'm going to try to show you guys the different sizes. See how one's thick and one's thin? So what you do is you just cut the head off like so, you know, give you a little bit of playroom. So I usually cut them in half, and then I keep that ball, because I'll use that ball for a shifter. I'll use this ball for a shifter knob. Got drawers full of these. And then you got to find out the size that you need. And then all you do, it's easy. I take my little sander here, and I just sand it off. And then you just push down on it like you would put the lead back in there. And that fell all the way through. I held on to it too long. I cut that one too short. This pencil's different. So let me get another ball. And then you gotta watch where I didn't realize that the spring, see if you guys can't see this. I didn't realize the spring was clear up here, and I cut that pen too short. And then once that spring holds it, you can see okay, that one there's too thin. And that's why I use two different pens. The one with the ball is too thin for this pencil. So you use your bigger one. And now look. Now once you cut the head off and you put your pen in there, see how that pen fits right in there? We use it we'll use it to scribe. So now you just put your pen in there, and it's a lot more controllable. It's a lot more controllable. And all you done is you took you just took a straight pen and put it in there. We have other scribers out there. Some people will use the back of their number 11 blade. Some people will buy, I have carbine bits like this and like this. But basically, UMP retail.com has just stocked 2 new type of scribers. You guys can go and get those too if you want. This right here is just a nice, simple, tool. I have these made already. It gives you more control, and the benefits of scribing your panel lines back open is you get a more realistic depth, and you could cut your body panels open with the less chance of scarring it. Because if you go with the back of the blade, and you go too quick, you go right across the top of the body. There's people that use thread and stuff like that, but for me, I like these little scribers. These little scribers work well for me. So I wanted to show you guys that. And another thing I wanted to share with you is, like you guys already said, all my sanders here come from UMP. UMPretail.com, and they, I bought the big set, so I'm covered with sanders for a long time. I got their massive set. So, but some of you guys out there don't have the accessibility. The best thing about this right here is just a cheap piece of wood. I put some sanding paper over the top of it and then I just lay it flat like this, and I can smooth out. It's wider. I could use this sander here. Was an old UMP sander that I abused the shit out of. So I glued 80 grit to it because the UMP sanders don't come that rough. So I glued 80 bit to it, and I found that when I'm trying to sand down a piece of resin, I only got that much room, and if I focus doing that, then I cause a groove. See how I was getting that thin right there, still thick? So if you make yourself a bigger one, you have more room. On Gothic's channel last week, he shared and showed how he would take stuff, Gothic had shared that, he takes these little clips. This right here is a very small one, but he would take these clips. He glued the sanders on there, and then, he'd use this for the sandpaper to sand. The best way to keep control of the items that you're sanding is not to use it by hand, not to use your fingers, because if you use your fingers and I'm sitting here sanding, this point and that point is pressure, but in the middle it ain't. So if you're just doing something like this, then you've caused a groove in your plastic. That's another thing Gothic had talked about when he was doing his body work. He had showed that on his body work, that you can, like, this panel is supposed to be like this, if you guys can't see that. Hopefully it don't white out. And see how it's got that curve. But if you stayed right here sanding this to do something like this, then you've taken out that hard edge. So it's best to have a block of some sort. So use something around the house. For my round stuff, I wrapped sanding paper around a marker that fits pretty well inside the wheel wells and stuff that I'm doing, so that way right there you're always keeping, the curve. And then as long as you use something with a good support, And whatever you sand, if you got to sand here, if you're setting off this 5.0 emblem, you're going to have to watch when you're sanding, you know, because you got that arch of the fender well. So if you're just sitting here sanding with the piece of sandpaper, you're going back and forth. You know, you're going to take out that detail. You're going to take out this molding detail. That's the purpose of have something sharp. You have something like this. You know, you can go right here and you can control it, and you can get rid of that 5.0 emblem like this without damaging the other fenders, because you can actually see where you're working instead of taking your finger over the top of it or your hand and trying to do some sanding. You know, the only time I do sanding is I fold up a small piece of paper like this, and then I usually go back through my door jambs once I scribe them. That's usually the only sanding that I'll do by hand. Just because of the way you can groove and damage everything. So I hope that helps you guys there on that part. And like I said, if you guys want more ideas, go to Gothic's channel, and he'll show you some of the sanders that he uses. Another thing you can do, which is pretty good, some of us have clips like this. You know, and we use this to pinch our parts together when we're gluing, you know, and, you know, keep your seams together. But say you don't have you know, I got different sizes here, littler sizes and stuff. So say you don't have access to the plastic, because these are all plastic. These ain't metal. You can buy some metal ones that have rubber ends on the top, but I find them to be, they have such a strong clamp thing that once you put your glue on there, some of us are using the Tamiya glues or the melting glues, not the super glues. And so once you pinch, it's already designed to get hot and melt your plastic together. So once you pinch that, you're gonna, you know, you could deform your plastic. So be careful on the clamps that you do buy. But another quick cheap trick is take a wooden paper clip. You take a wooden clothes clip, you flip it upside down, and if you want more movement this way, you just got to cut your ends down. But it'll clamp. And say you wanted to clamp it, and it's wood. Wood is soft, so it will conform to what you need to. So say you were building this, and you needed, hell, I couldn't tell you, but say you wanted to get that, so you just clamp that on there, and it will hold both pieces together. You know, it's a good strong clamp. And what's cool with it is the dollar store has a bunch of different size clips, so you can actually make you different size clamps depending upon the job you need. You know, so just a quick little scratch building tool that I like to use. You know, I'm just today's, maybe we'll just get you guys, you know, get your tool supplies build up, because I've seen some people will say I don't have the money or I don't have the room. A bag of these at the dollar store, you know, and you can build, you know, and right there you got a new model clamp. And like I was saying, look how I arched this clip here out, so that way it's a much bigger. The resin motors, I got some resin motors from CVG Resin, and they take some work, guys. They're a little bit out of proportion, so they take some work. So, you know, you go to glue the transmission, this little clamp here would be good for that end of the transmission. But once you curve out the back, then I can get the front part. I can get the front part in there. You know, I can get up in there a little bit more. See? So just a couple cheap tools. My buddy Mark over there at the Sprue Surgeon, he's building himself some paint clamps, and that's what I do. I just went and ordered some of these alligator clips, and I put them on cocktail strips, you know. These right here are a little bit more expensive. You get like, if you have a Harbor Freight, you can get like 10 for $1 or something like that, you know. But the package of barbecue skewers, I mean, they're like 50, 100 bags, you know, and they're at the dollar store too. And I just cut them to different lengths. And then what I also did is I got the same wire I used to do my hinges. I make 2 paint sticks like this. And what this is for is when it's time to go paint, these fit right into the products that I use to hinge the hood and stuff. And now look, now it holds the body panel, so that way I can get in there and I can paint it, and it covers the holes, so that way my rods can come back in, and then, you know, it holds the product that I need painted. And to back that up, I take 2 rods that I use to hinge, I put tape around them, and then those will go on the hinges to keep the hinges from getting damaged by paint and stuff. And, you know, I got a bunch of different sizes of that to fit on different, so that way now I can paint my car. Just some cheap, quick tools that you can do, you know. Yeah, Mark, I seen your post about you building these. I cut mine. I cut some of mine. This is for Mark, if you guys want to do this too. What I did is, Mark, to give this right here more support on this one, is I actually cut a little bit of the wood, then I stuck this down in there, Mark, and then I did the clamp over. I don't know if it'd be easier to see because now it's painted, but see, there's part of the wood, Mark, and then you do that. And then right here, and I got a whole mess of them, probably 50, because you just never know, you know, what you're going to use for them. I think this right here started out as the 939. This one here was the 939. It comes with 4 Webers right here, but they were all shit when I got them, so I'm redoing something, you know, on the top. The one thing about resin, sometimes it looks solid, and once you go to clean it up, there'll be an air bubble on the inside. Some of the resin that we use, guys, is yellowish like this color. There's white, there's black, there's gray. So sometimes it's not the caster's fault, but sometimes it's the curing time. So, you know, it's just a little setback, but, you know, we'll do something different right here, and we'll get it in there. And then I've hollowed out the oil pan just so I can get it into the cross member of the vehicle that, you know, I'm thinking about doing. Yeah, hey George, right there from Vision 124. Guys, go to I forgot what I was gonna say now. God dang it. But George has a great channel. He's not as active as some of us other ones, but you guys can find him on the Instagram. They do a lot, you know, he does a lot that way. And he's just a great guy, a really good friend of mine. So go over there and support his channel too. And George, I am sending George my wagon, and he is going to show the wagon for me this year. And you guys should be able to go out to the New Jersey NNL and the Diversified Scale contest here in the later part of the year. Great. You guys wouldn't believe the show that Vision 124 and them put on, with the club of only being like 6-7 members in this club, and they throw on one very, very good show. The show grabbed so much interest that the NNL has asked George and his club to bring their theme to the NNL in 2 weeks. So you guys want to go out there and check that out. So right now I just shared a few tools that I like to use when it comes to working. What else was I going to do? So right there's a few tools. Oh, the scratch building part. Alright. This right here, some of this week's ideas are coming from stuff that I've seen across YouTube this week. Lucifer's channel. Lucifer showed how he took his Dremel and he made what he called the poor man's lathe. And he showed how he worked with his sizes. There's so many different sizes when we get to tubing. Here's my book. Here's my box, Lucifer. I get all my tubing in a bunch of different sizes, and just like your plastic stock, guys, you want to have all different kinds of stock. The most common thing I use my stuff in here for is going to be exhaust tips. The way I use this stuff for, I got this stuff as small as this right here, for fuel lines and stuff like that. Hydraulic lines when I do my hydraulics. But a lot of this is exhaust tips, steering columns, and distributors. Lucifer showed how taking this little bitty small one, even smaller than this, even smaller than what I used for the hood hinges and stuff, and how he puts it in the lathe, or he puts it in his Dremel, and he uses the sandpaper to cut it down to size, and then he made one hell of a good looking like a throttle system, and the way he detailed that and did it, it's quick in his video, but you could take that further than what he shared. The valve stems that we put in the wheels could be a lot. It's an easy trick. What I do is I drill them through the back side of the wheel, and then I stick it back up, and that way the head of the pin is up there. But the way Lucifer showed it, we can start taking something as small as, say you got a staple. Unbend the staple, put it in your Dremel, and then you can round it off and you can give it a head. And another thing that caught my interest this week was on Gothix, and when he was talking about fillers and the way you fill things in. I didn't get to the bench yesterday, guys, to do the Workbench Wednesday thing for you, but I'm here today, and I gotten the ideas through the week watching these other guys' channel. So say you got this. And part of scratch building is you could do one of two things. You could either just start filling this in, but then it's going to dry up and shrink. Or you can add your plastic in there to it, and then you can build it up. So what I planned on doing was I planned on getting in here and building it up, because it's damaged from glue and it's in a spot where I wouldn't be able to work that big glue mill out and lose the Ford emblem anyway. So what I was going to do with this one is just build a different tailgate, but when it comes to scratch building, you look, and the first thing I would do is get your idea together. Here, let's work on the Mustang. That's a better subject, because I can actually show you what I'm doing. On the Mustang, I wanted the wheels in there to set about like yay. But if you notice, when I get it up in there, see how it's pushing back instead of staying right here? It keeps pushing back. Well, the interior, and if you look in the interior, I try to cut out the wheel wells, but it's the interior panel itself that is getting me to push the wheel back. So we're going to have to build a tub. I just sanded this down. This right here is a resin copy I made of the, let's see if I can't get the light over here. This right here is a resin copy of a Micro Nitro wheel from back in the day. And all I did is copied it. It was a copy already, and then I copied the copy. Just so I can have a set for here. And then here's the fronts. But anyway, what we're going to do, I've already cut all the trunk out, guys. And then the way I have this set up, you got to test fit when you're doing this stuff. I know it's scratch building. But make sure you get everything lined up where it needs to be. And I already know I got to round this off some. But instead of just going in there and rounding it off and making me a bigger problem than I have, what I like to do, I'll get me a sheet of styrene. I'll work with the 20 today, 0.20. And then what I'll do is I'll get a wheel out. This right here is the wheel end tire that's going into that hub. The problem I found, Gothic, about the pill bottle is the paints that I like to use don't stick to it. That's like the plastic egg. I tried to build some eggish toys. My buddy Chris, he built some pretty cool looking eggs, the Easter eggs that are in half. Well, my paint don't want to stick to that plastic either. But we built him some cool looking drag cars and stuff with those eggs. So what I do, see if you guys can't see this, in order to build my tub, this is the wheel and tire that I'm going to use. So what I do is I'll give myself a trace, and I just go in there and I'll trace it. If you use a pen or something like this that downstairs, once you trace your thing, it's going to be just a little bit bigger than what your wheel is. If you can see, you see that, So then I'll cut that out. Cheap Harbor Freight. Then I try to stay as close to that line as I can. So you guys can. And don't worry about this. This ain't trash, guys. Don't throw this little stuff away, because you never know where it will fit in. I got numbered drawers over there, and I put all my scrap in there. And then the first thing I do, I know I'm going to cut this up more, but I want it clean before I do so. So I always go back and resand it around that thing. So then, since I've made the back, I'll go in there and I look at where the center will be. The center should be right there like that. So then I go back down and I'll follow it down this way. Like so. You can either, I like to angle it like this, so that way I get the front and the rear. And they're like that. And then what I do, is that, and then I'll come back up there and then I'll cut all that out. So now that I got that cut, I'll go back over here and see how it all looks. It all looks fine. I'm going to give it a little bit more sanding right there at the round spot. Lucifer, on that rail drag that you showed the throttle cable, is that one of your scratch built frames also? Which, guys, this rail drag that Lucifer shared with us this week. Oh my God. And you guys know me, most of my builds are street cars. But I'm still entertained by other builders. Just because I have a focus on one subject versus the other doesn't mean I don't recognize the other stuff that is out there. And I'm telling you what, man, for some of these guys building these drag cars and the details they put into them, is so now that I built the plastic thing, the back tub, I got it where it will fit the chassis. Then I'll take my tire and wheel, because I know that'll fit in there. And then I just go there before I glue it. And look, I can set it down as low as I want now, or I can bring it back up. So right there will help me build the tub. And I can't justify this interior tub yet until I have the wheel tub the way I want it, to where I want it to be at. The way I had this wheel tub set up, I could go down a little bit more if I wanted to, but I don't know where it leaves me at the height yet. So what I do, I'm going to do it this way, because I know that I could adjust it for wherever, and then, you know, just to get a quick peek in here. It's still going to fit. It might need a little bit, yeah, it's a little tall. It's going to be a little tall right there, but so if you get to the point and you find out that your piece is too tall, you can start cleaning it up this way. You know, you don't have to recut everything else. So since I know it's too tall, I'm just going to go in here and trim it off a little bit. Like this. Draw me another line. And when you're scratch building, the best part of scratch building would be to always double check your work. Never glue nothing in when you're scratch building, because you can build one side and get it to your liking, and then if you try to go to the other side and do it, you might not get it exact. And then you would, you know, you'd have to start all over. And you kind of, when you go scratch building, especially on a model that has to be on both sides, you kind of want to take that precaution. So now I get this there. I redesigned the tub itself, and now it will fit in between here. So you take your seat, and we're going to build us a second. We're going to build us a second wall. And right here's the second tub, and you make sure it fits. So once everything fits, then I still got my wheel clearance. What I will do now is grab me a little bit thicker piece of plastic, which I have some 40. Let's see if I have some good 40. I have some old signs here like this I took from an old grocery store. But you'll want to get you a decent size, like say this size here. And then what I usually do is check the width of my tire, and I'll put it down on the piece of plastic like this, and I'll go in front of it a little bit. Oh, shit. Lost my tracer. Then I usually go like this in front of it. If you guys can't see that. And I'll go to the other end of the piece of plastic. And then I use trusty old ruler. Alright. The worst part about building a tub, or I should say scratch building anything curved, is to try to get the curve to a spot where it will keep its shape. So right there. Now you look, since I cut it the shape of the tire, it should be the same width that I need for the tub. So then what I do is I take it, lay it around the tire that I'm going to use, like so. And then try to give it a pinch like that. Now, for you younger guys, you might have to go get your parents' permission. But what I like to do is I put a little heat to it. Just take a quick, you can do it hot water if you want to, but since I'm down on the bench, I just do a real quick heat to it. Yeah, but it gets a little sticky, you know, Gothic. So this is what I do, and then just within a few seconds, it's went around, you know, and it's kept its curve, and then it's still flexible to where I can get in here and work it and sand it and place it where I need to be. You know, just it's something that quick, you know what I mean? And once it opens up, it still gives you enough flexibility, but it still took the tension away from it being straight, and it will still be gluable. And like I said, guys, like I've said, like Lucifer said, and like Gothic has said, when we share a tip or a trick, we're showing you the best way that we do it, the best way that we've came accustomed to do it, It might not always be the right way, and it's definitely not the only way. So like Gothic had just mentioned that he uses another style to help soften the plastic. We're all going to have our own likes and dislikes when it comes to performing what we enjoy to do. So what I'll do now is I'll take this and I'll size up the new tub I built, and then that's when I'll glue it here. I'll glue it on this instead of on the car, because it's easier to reshape. It's easier to reshape when it's in my hands. So let's just get some glue on there. Today we're using my trusty old BSI Instant Cure. Hope you guys have had a good Thursday so far. I got up this morning, got my kids off to school, got the old lawnmower out, and got my first grass cut of the year done. Been a busy morning here for me. So now I glued this into place. I can go in there and the tire still will fit. Then I can go in here and clean this up. It's a lot easier to clean this stuff up, guys, before it's glued into place. And that's why you always see me working and cleaning instead of trying to get it all together and then cleaning it up. Because if you put it in there clean, you know you won't have to really get back in there to clean it, and you're going to get a better fit than, you know, when you're test fitting all this stuff up. Then what I do is I just come back in here and I'll clip. And right there is one tub done. Then I go in there and I can fit it back up on the chassis, and then I can get it to, once you get your tub done, before you glue it in, you have a better way of, you know, sliding it around, putting it where you need to. Hello, Tool Taz. Oh, Gary Ruby's with us today. Hello, Gary. Hope you're feeling good, bud. Great getting to talk to you yesterday. You guys want to see some crazy ideas? I know Gary hasn't posted his videos in a while, but he joined us on Facebook a couple months ago, was sharing his work. Gary has this pickup truck he's working on now. And the way he's cut his fenders out and made flames into the fenders themselves and into the hood, the truck is stretched. Oh man, that's going to be a killer car. Hello, Charlie. I hope you're doing well too, Charlie. I know you've been in and out of the doctor's office this last week or two. Hope you're well. And what's really sad about Charlie is just right before winter came, man, they had a big storm come through Charlie's neighborhood, and the tree fell on his dad's house and the car, and it was just a bad winter for Charlie and them up there. So once you build the tub and you do all your sanding and fitting, you can see how everything is lining up. At this point, the tub is what needs to be done. Now, since I made the tub, I might have to redo the hinge. I don't know yet. You can glue this in. You can glue this in at that time. And then just remember what we've done. And then you repeat that. You'll repeat that for the other side. So I'm going to glue this into place so I can carry on. Young Model Master, are you feeling well since you've been home, bud? I know you was saying you couldn't sit in your chair right, but you wanted to get back to building, so I hope, you find a comfort zone there, bud. One thing I like to do, guys, just while I'm building, I'll show you guys. I keep a box of Q-tips. And then what I do is as I'm gluing my pieces in, to help keep it clean as I'm going, I'll run the Q-tip along where I just did the super glue. And that way it kind of keeps it down a little bit. It's not the best, but it helps me get stuff set in place. So now that we got that one side done. Now I lost. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Well, horse monkeys. Oh, here it is. He decided to take a trip. Now we'll take the other one. And you do the same thing that we did on the other side. Whoa. Just remember, you have a left and you have a right, so you got to make sure you're gluing on the right side when you do it. Hey, Mark, did you get your airbrush thing figured out? To get down to that fine line? Mark picked up a new airbrush, guys, and he was testing out some stuff. and was having some issues earlier this week on getting it down to the a really fine line. All right, Charlie, have a good day, man. Hope everything goes well on your follow-up visit there, bud. Yep, that fell off. Maybe someday, guys, I'll get better organized with doing these videos. Trying to get this second tub in there. That way we can move further on. Like Lucifer said this week in his video, it's kind of hard sometimes to explain something and build it the way we build them, but yet still stay within a reasonable time frame. Alright, so now both tubs are in. Then I'm going to look at my interior, and you can see how where this right here needs to be. You have to see right there where it needs to be cut and curved over. You can see that on this kit here, it has a back seat. So there's a lot of stuff that you can manipulate to get through it. But I kind of want to keep it the drag stuff. So what I'll do is I'll come over here on the outside of this, and I'll draw a line, you know, give me a little bit of room to come down. And I'll do that with both sides. And that's where I'll start making my sanding and doing my cuts. For this, I use a Dremel. So that way I can keep it round. And you want to go a little at a time. You don't want to go too drastic with it. So then I just did some quick sanding right there. Go in here and clean it up real quick. Now you could always just box the whole, you know, cut a great big ass piece out of it and then build you just a big old box around it, but we're going to do this a little cleaner than that. So now you get to look in here, and now that the chassis will actually fit in here back and forth, you can still see it still needs a little bit. Still needs a little bit off here. And on this side, a little bit off of here. What is that? A little bit off the top of this right here. I've seen a lot of builds on the tables, guys, where people have done like a pro tub or something, pro touring or something like that. And then if you just, and they just don't look right, they don't set right, or the rear end and axles or something is in a different position, and it's just because of small things like this. They had the idea to put the meat under it, but then they didn't justify for the space that meaty tire needs. And so sometimes, you know, it has that ripple effect. So now, this right here is where Revell would want it. And you can see there's still a little bit more cleanup in there. But at least you get to the point to where it's actually going to fit under the car. So now let's put it in the car. Now, what I've done prior, I wanted the car lower than what it was, so I'll probably have to lose these hinges. But first, I always test fit, and I love to test fit. That shows me where I'm headed, and it saves me less headache once everything is coming together. So there's the tubs in the car. Here's the tubs in the trunk. And if you can notice that I'll have to move the hinges. But let's see if I get the stance. See, I'll be able to get my stance now, and the wheel and tire be in the correct, you know, it's not pushed back no more, it's not pushed forward. I wanted a small tire car tool, Taz. Now let's see, we go in here and we can mock this up. And look at and see, that's the stance that I was after right there. Let's see if you guys can't see that. And see, that's the stance that I was after. Yeah, James, it came with fender wheels. I wanted it to set lower than what the kit would offer. So now, what we'll do, I'll save that. Will be good, and I'll have to readjust my hinges, and I'll start boxing everything in. Almost could fit that hinge. All I'll do is I'll bring this hinge here over, and then I'll get all that boxed in. But you guys see, that's just a quick way to build a tub. Keep you guys in camera. And that's just a, come on. That's just a quick way. Cause, John, it's a lot cheaper to build them here on my bench. So right there, that'll be that for this week. Then, you know, that's just my idea of scratch building. It's very useful. It can enhance any project if you take the time to do it to the point to where it's right instead of just throwing, you know, stuff in there. I don't know why I'm about to add the hinge on. Let me see. Yeah, James, there is no tubs with these kits. Here is a, I'm going to pull out the regular chassis and interior from another kit I have, guys. So as you can see, what all we've cut today, this is the factory, this right here is the factory chassis. And then here would be, so I made the tubs the way everything's set. You can see how much higher I went on the tub, so that way I could get the stance that I needed. And that's the tub that I built. Hello, Jones Merc. So if I was to put, just so you guys can see the difference and what I was aiming for, I'm going to put the original chassis under the car. So here's the original, get in there. Oh, I missed the glue and spikes. Alright, here's original chassis in the car. If I'm going to put my wheel on there, see how tall it sets? And that's why I built the wheel hubs, James. Because I wanted it to set down lower. And now we'll get the tub chassis I made in there. That in the right spot. And see, with the tub chassis in there, see how lower I can go with it. And that was the purpose of doing what we did today, guys. Well, I'm going to take a few minutes. I'm going to go through here and look at some questions, read some of your guys' comments. If you don't want to stick around, I understand. You guys can watch all this again once it goes live. So, I'm going to go back to the top and see what all we get here. Alright, we have Lucifer, Mechanics Garage is here, and Gothic, Bobblehead. We got ScaleWorld.net. Don't forget, guys, you are all more than welcome to go over to ScaleWorld.net. Look at all that's already there. Enter your own stuff, guys. Even, Pedro, he can do 1 or 2 pictures. You guys can send him pictures of the whole project. It might not go up real soon, but if you do, please send ScaleWorld.net a picture of your build. You know, make sure they're good and clean. Give him a little a bio write-up on it, so that way he knows what's put into your write-up, like what kit it was, maybe how long it took to build, what colors, you know, could be in there. There's a lot of good looking builds over there. Let's see who else we got. Doug, thank you for joining in again, Doug. Oh, Gilbert's here. Hello, Gil. If you guys don't know Red Dragon Model Works yet, or the Styrene Syndicate guys yet, they're a diversified group of guys. They build beautiful pieces of art, from figures, military, to what ifs. Here a while back, they all took an aircraft and made a vehicle out of. The way game workshop stuff, you know, your stuff that you would be like 40K, and Gilbert and them have motivated me to do the Dungeons and Dragons stuff from Reaper. Great group of guys over there. And Red Dragon, he is very informative. You guys can watch what he does, and he'll show you. He shares a lot. So go over there and sub Gilbert. See who else we got today in here. Mark, Sprue Surgeon, you guys know he's a good friend and follows a lot. Okay, Distinct Auto. Oh yeah, no problem, bud. Beautiful Cadillac. I got to check it out this week. That you entered into the Chevy Top 10. That was a beautiful car. Jody, thanks for joining us. How did you enjoy your Mazda build, bud? I know you're done with it already. You went through that one pretty quick. You guys know George, Vision 124 is here. Thanks for following, brother. I should be able to get everything shipped out. I was hoping to do it today. I might have to wait till tomorrow. Plus, the kids are all out of school tomorrow for Good Friday. But it's definitely getting on its way. So that way it's there at the NNL, bud. Steve Courtney's here. What's up, Steve? How's the Nova going, bud? I know you're working on it. Gothic, that motor that I have is VCG resin. Yeah, Gil, he has some good stuff. I'm just reading your guys' comments real quick. Thanks, Jason. It's great. I see a few new names, guys. Thanks for following. Um, thanks, George, on the tubs. If you guys don't know, the young model master he just made, I just read a comment. They have a live get together almost every Friday, and I always leave some kind of silly comment right when I get there just to let him know I'm there. And his comment is on the same thing. He didn't mean nothing by it. I see where Mark had made a comment about with somebody leaving insults. That's just something that I do to Young Model Master, 8 Second, Speed Shop, and McCoy models. A bunch of young kids. They're about between 15 and 18. And I just give them crap. It makes Fred Henry laugh. It'll make Clifton, they all laugh. They usually read it before the young boys do, and that's what makes it even funnier. Well, guys, it looks like I read through all the comments, not very many questions, and I'm glad you guys can conversate back and forth, and you guys are able to learn off each other and share tips as I'm going through my video to share. Hello, Sheldon. Guys, I've decided just to spread the word about Sheldon's hard work and what he's been doing for us. Is every Wednesday I'm going to spotlight a different piece that Sheldon opens and or I should say cast and post for sale. There's a lot of stuff for sale. There's a lot of stuff for sale over there. Some stuff is more popular than the others. Most people are going for, you know, what kind of questions did they ask when they find out that you cast? They want to know, do you do carburetors? Do you do breathers? You know, but Sheldon offers so much more. So I'm going to take some time each Wednesday and pick a product. Last night I texted Sheldon and I said, Sheldon, pick a number between 1 and 136. And Sheldon picked number 69, which is the big block oil pan. So I posted that up on Facebook. I left the link to where you can purchase the items, what the item number was, and the cost. And so each week, look for that, guys. Each week I'm going to do a new part just to help Sheldon. I know Lisa and Chip are going to start doing stuff on what they sell at Extreme. I don't know if I'll venture into sharing off some more of their stuff, but I do want to spotlight a lot of Sheldon's work. Sheldon's been a good member of the community for many years. I only had one drawback when I first got here about Sheldon, and that didn't pertain to his building. And but that was something that I had to overlook, and once I overlooked that, Sheldon's a great friend. Very easy to talk to. Great information, especially on the genres that Sheldon likes to perfect, I want to say. There's a lots and lots of stuff to be learned. So if you guys don't know, take some time, go watch Sheldon, go support what Sheldon is doing, because the man has taken away time from his family and from his actual hobby to produce and offer us some great stuff that we can use. All the way from pulleys, he's made like custom pulleys, all the way to full blown custom quick change rear ends, full motor sets, and product is clean. Product is very affordable. I've seen stuff go like one battery being $3 from some casters to this one here being the battery box is just being $1. Very well detailed. You can see the straps, the lockdown. Very well packaged. It's not just somebody casting slump. And look at this. This is a piece. It needs no cleanup. And this comes straight from Sheldon to Extreme and from Extreme to me. I will give you guys my honest opinion on everything. I purchased these myself. This wasn't free. It's not like I'm trying to, you know, he's, you know, and, so it's not like I'm trying to be biased for favoritism. I truly enjoy Sheldon, truly enjoy his work, and I want him to get the payout that he has ventured into, because guys, this resin stuff ain't quick. It's not cheap by any means, and for Sheldon to do what he's doing for us, he only went to Extreme by friendship. He's a good friend with Chip and Lisa, and you know, I've casted my own parts for years, and I never attempted to go to Chip and Lisa because I didn't want to do it as a business. Sheldon went further than copying stuff. Sheldon is creating his own stuff and then casting it. And it wasn't like he just took a bunch of Revell items and bought a $20 you know, mode set and started casting parts. Now wants to run a business. So this is hands down some of the best stuff for our hobby. And look at the price. This is what is amazing, is Chip and Lisa have it priced and the quality is there. And it is great. I have, and the Optima battery. Somebody said something about the Optima battery. It would be okay. It would be a lot better if it came with the decal. It has the decal in it, guys. It just might not be seen. But there's your decal for the Optima battery. And look, that's only $1.50. And look, this is Sheldon style. I have other styles, but this is one that Sheldon created instead of just copying someone else's. So, we was talking the other day. Sheldon's going to be producing some more tires. His tire and wheel combo now is really great. So be looking for that. Like I said, every Wednesday I'll be spotlighting a product for him. Hopefully next week my schedule slows down so I can get back to doing the Workbench Wednesday. Don't forget to check out Sheldon's live shows. Gilbert, the Red Dragon Model Works, he does the live show for his own channel, and then he'll do the Styrene Syndicate, so you guys can jump over there and grab that. Don't forget to sub these guys that keep commenting. If you guys ain't already subbed, check out some of their videos. And you guys have a great day. This went on really long. I wish I was more informative, so I hope what I did share today between the tools and the scratch building of something small on the tubs, that you guys find that useful. John, what did you just post? Wish the clothes were better to show the fuel lines and linkage. Thanks for the show. I guess I missed a question. Hey, Gil, without you being in this community, bud, I don't think I would have pushed myself further than to where I was comfortable. So I want to tell you thank you. Besides all the BS that this hobby has thrown at many of us, you including, brother, it's great to be able to still have a good spirit, and I'm learning, so I need teachers, and I'd rather have a teacher that can show me the ins and outs versus, attitude or what have you. But so thank you, Gil, because I know you're not only helping me. There's many of these guys out here that follow you. We'll see you guys. Hey, Jonesburg, I don't know where your calendar is, but it's a Tech Thursday, not Tuesday. Tech Tuesday, that's something different, guys. So we'll see you guys. Have a great day. Hope you guys get to the bench and build this weekend. For me, is I have to do the Easter thing with the kids, and I'll have to attend work. So it's going to be a long weekend for me. You guys be good, be positive, and keep moving forward in our hobby. That's the only way we're going to learn. And I hope you all stay in good health. I know there's several of my friends that follow me and that I talk to that you guys are all facing some issues, but don't let it get you down. Just stay positive and keep building when you can. This is Minnie, and I'm done with this one. See you guys next week.